Hey guys, this is Taylor Lewis with Strength Matters, and today we're going to talk about how to improve or reduce tightness in the lower back. And what we see a lot is I'm here with Molly, and she came to me and she was talking about having some right side lower back tightness. And what we tend to see is people want to stretch the lower back, and that's kind of a place that we don't necessarily want to stretch because it's a place of stability. So we need to try and approach this in a manner that we can increase or reduce tension, but at the same time be able to improve efficiency. And the number one thing when you're approaching this, and with this exercise we're about to show you, is you have to do an assessment. So this exercise is based, we assessed Molly over here, and we feel this exercise is going to be optimal for her. So what we did with Molly is the first thing we did when we assessed her was this postural position statically. So just turn this way for me slightly. Perfect. So what we see already from this position, and I can already tell, is she shifted slightly to the right, which means with that being said, she's going to have a lot of weight to this side, which is going to cause her right side to tilt slightly. So if she turns around for me, we're seeing a little bit more. We're going to see that her scaps on the right side is slightly depressed. So that means we already have an asymmetrical dysfunctional pattern, and her right side was tightening up. So it starts to lead us to believe that maybe if we fix or reposition her, that we're going to improve the efficiency of how she moves. So another thing is what we saw is since she shifted here, her left side rib cage is going to be flared up. And if it's flared up, we're going to get some external rotation of those rib cage, and this side's going to lock down. So her whole right side, and right at the diaphragm where the internal obliques, transverse, and QL are working to keep her stabilize the rib cage and the pelvis, what's happening is it's toned up. So when she's doing high kettlebell volume or any exercises that are going to get us this whole sympathetic tone, her right side's going to really do the work and lock up, and her left side is going to be a little bit more hyperinflated. Because another thing internally, you have 3 lobes of your lungs on the right, and you have 2 on the left. Also, your diaphragm, the central tendon, is thicker on the right side. So internally, she is shifted to the right. So for us to get her lower back loosened, we're going to attack breathing. And there's a lot of stuff going on with breathing, and what we need to understand is you have to reposition people first and then start to work breathing. So coming back to what we're about to do is we're going to get her into all fours on this plate, but before that we have to talk about how she's going to breathe. So people that are sympathetically toned or after exercises really exhale. So when she really breathes in, she's going to raise up. Give me a couple breaths. Her chest and cavity is going to shift up, which is going to cause the muscles up here to work a lot more. When in actuality, we want her to breathe through her stomach and get that diaphragm to work, because it's like a piston. When she breathes in through her stomach, it's going to collapse down, create this position of what we call zone of apposition, which is going to bring everything out. Go ahead and breathe in through her stomach, creating stability here. And then when she exhales, we want this rib cage to come down and lock that pelvis together. But what happens is when you breathe too much in, it's going to, now breathe in through your chest again. Her cavity is going to expand up into this external rotation, which causes us to decrease the efficiency of how she breathes. So what we're going to have her do is when she breathes in normally, breathe through the belly. She's going to breathe in through her stomach, and then when she exhales, she's going to drop her left side down, and she's going to take that rib cage and bring it all the way back as much as she physically can. Then she's going to breathe in again as much as she can through the stomach, and then she's going to exhale as much as she can. And this is the key, exhalation. So when you exhale as much as you can, all these muscles around this stomach region are going to tighten that pelvis and rib cage. So with that position, it looks like she's flexing a little bit more, which we want, because we don't want her to get in this hyperextended pattern, which happens when you get sympathetically toned. So what we're going to do is have her drop on this plate in this quadruped position at an angle. Perfect. And the key with her, since she just lives in her right hip, we're going to only do this to get her into her left hip, because once again we have an asymmetrical dysfunction going on, and once again we'll never get symmetry. We're just going to try and reduce the gap between these 2 positions. So from this position, what we're going to have her do is, the key with this plate, you don't want to go anything higher than like a phone book. So you don't want a really big plate. We want about 4 inches off. She's going to lift up, and these knees are going to be parallel to each other right here. From this position, she's going to drop her right knee down, leaving 80% of her weight on that left. And that's the key. People will tend to shift back over to the right because they love to live there. From that position, she is going to breathe in through her stomach. Remember, when she breathes in, the belly button's going to go down to the floor. And then when she exhales, she's going to push away and crunch her stomach as much as she can. Keep on exhaling, keep on exhaling, keep on exhaling. And keep doing that. Breathe in. And while she's doing this, the places where she should feel it is her left adductor, because we're trying to get her some internal rotation to get into that hip. And you may get some cramping in the TFL, just if that's overactive. But another key thing is when she starts breathing, her body's going to want to shift over to that right side again. So you have to really focus on staying on that side and really flexing. And this is causing all these secondary respiratory muscles to lengthen because we don't want them working right now. And we're really working on getting that rib cage tucked in under on that left side. Give me one more breath. In through the nose as much as you physically can, and then you truly exhale. So then she's going to be able to get up after this, and we've now taken her rib cage that was slightly flared here and dropped it down here. And the key with this exercise is to reposition the rib cage so then when she does move again efficiently, we get oxygen consumption at a proper manner when she's working out. So what you would like to do and what we want you to take away from this, understand a couple things. When you exercise, we will have this sympathetic or high threshold tone going on, which is fine, but you have to own the other side of it. So if you are getting some lower back tightness, you're probably getting too tight in the back side here, and you need to work on this whole breathing. Breathing's good, but you also need to do repositioning with your breathing so you can own it. So what we'd like you to do and try this is get onto this plate in this quadruped position, drop that knee down, and remember, you're only going to be on the left side. You're going to drop that right hip down, and then you're going to give us 4 sets of 6 breaths, elongating those breaths as long as you can. So try that out. Tell us how it works for you, and we'd love the feedback. Thank you, guys.